So let's say we want to set up a trust. We're going to have to designate somebody to be in charge of that trust, a trustee. So how do we find that person? Who is that person for us? Like, what do you recommend?
It's different for everyone. Lots of people like to keep that role within the family. Usually it's a sibling, sometimes it's an aunt or an uncle. But I always tell my clients, when you're dealing with minor children especially, try to find someone who has similar values, someone who values the dollar the way you do, somebody who's not a pushover. So when your kid turns 18 and says, I want to go to Vegas and get bottle service, the trustee isn't going to start handing out money. So you want to look for somebody who, and maybe it's a friend, maybe it's a colleague, maybe it's a neighbor. It doesn't have to be a sibling or someone within the family, but somebody who really understands your value of the dollar and your parenting values.
The trustee, how much access do they have to the money in the trust?
They have access to all of it.
So does anything prevent them from just accessing it for themselves?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Yes. When you create your trust, you have provisions within the trust that have the limitations, okay? So the money can only be used for the certain things that you set it up for, right? So these can be ages, stages, conditions where we'll call them your children, we're going to assume it's your children, are going to take those distributions, okay? So there are protections built in. And what I suggest doing is assigning what we call a trust protector. And that is someone who's really kind of like the tattletale for the checks and balances up for the trustee. And that person can go in and can demand to look at the books to make sure the money is being spent properly. That person can go in and actually remove the trustee if they believe there's abuse. They can, on behalf of the estate, they can bring the trust before a court and they can say, I need this explained.
So it's a great idea if maybe some of us have a few trust issues even within our family. It's a great idea to not just assign one trustee, but then also an additional person who will sort of have the oversight.
Yeah, so that person is typically a trust protector. A lot of times my clients use me, or if they've got another attorney that their family has used.
So really it's a legal professional.
It can be. It doesn't have to be. It can be someone else, but I think it makes sense that when you hire an estate planning lawyer and you're trying to articulate all of your intentions to them and your goals, that naturally they're going to have probably a better, a stronger understanding of what you laid out to do in hiring them to do this than, some extraneous person. Now, another thing you can do is you can hire more than one person to act as co-trustees, and then they kind of keep each other in check.
Got it. So if I'm concerned that if I designate my best friend and she has a tendency to give her children a lot of leeway, and I'm concerned that she would do the same with my child, I could also designate as co-trustee a different friend who is more measured in her approach to,
right,
spending.
Absolutely.